Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Steve, and we're going to be playing some Quest, the RPG tonight, or Quest RPG. I'm not sure how you say that, but either way, we're playing Quest, and Nerder Doug will be our esteemed guide through said quest. Throwing it to you, sir.
Oh, okay. So I am extremely excited to be pulled into my own creation of this game. And now with everyone back aboard Arlash, which is hovering in the sky over my house right now, despite being present for all of your adventures and having the most intimate knowledge of the ins and out of your entire quest, I turn to Dr. Christopher to ask him to share his perspective on how did you arrive at this time and space. I mean, I know, but I want to know what your perspective is. This is strange for me.
Okay, so this all is so surreal. We find ourselves on this planet that has what looks to be some sort of cul-de-sac or something, which is actually fairly similar to where I come from. You know, humans, nice houses, manners are important, things like that. But apparently there are some people, creatures of some variety on screens that control our every word and whim. And we met one such person who, as they were speaking, Sirkos was speaking the same words, and they were sharing this dual voice sort of situation, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, we love a good creepy situation here, but also, oh my gosh, this is a little bit of an existential mood. So, I feel like probably the strangest thing is the Flanergy, which is flan, which is just yucky scrambled egg custard with cinnamon, which is not great, is trying to take over the entire universe. I'm not about that life. I don't know many people that are. And it's taking over the sun up there, this little galaxy's sun. And
Weird what? That nobody seems to be too worried about it, though, right? Except us.
It's almost like they don't see it. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Also, we have this new person. I presume him, human. He's sitting here with us and the ship, and we just saved his house from these flan oozes. And you know what? I would rather just kind of take a minute and decompress. So, Herlan, you can take it from here.
Oh. Boy, you caught me with my tuxedo down, because I don't remember that much of that. I remember like the stuff that happened at the end, and us, going into, well, you didn't really talk about like us visiting, Robin as much, and I felt like we did a lot of role playing there, and then we moved on to rescuing the guide, Doug, who
Me.
was
I'm sitting there with you.
Yeah, it's you. Who did we get the big red stick from Robin?
We did.
Yeah. See, I feel like I'm encroaching on like Sirkos and Robin here, because like all the details really are about what happened to them. So yeah,
I gotta say, I'm impressed that you're able to step away from yourself and refer to your real life interactions as role-playing Ular, and that's pretty fascinating to me. But yeah,
it comes natural. I've been doing it all my life. With that, I am just going to throw it to Sirkos, to Robin, sure, because I feel like, last episode really spotlighted them.
Oh, I learned that the version of me that exists on this plane is dreadfully ugly. Only 2 eyes, only 2 arms. I'm not entirely sure how they function. But we did get the red stick, and we were sent away with these sodas that they say they're beer, but they are definitely not alcoholic in any way, so I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. Uberlu.
So I think we kind of glossed over the fact that we started off with the Bobi people, and we actually got to have a conversation with Nubdub and his people, and learned that there was a time that Sir Koss went and actually had spoken with the Bopi, and that the red stick was indeed part and parcel of everything that's going on. We kind of had to backtrack our way through this magic gem and what have you, and we don't know what the fate is of the Bopi people, because they were stuck in this gem, so they may or may not have survived. We're hoping for the positive, kind of stuff, but we learned that Sir Koss had taken the red stick and had done something with it, and that we had to then go find it. And that's where Dr. Christopher and Sir Koss's story kind of then, rambles back to us, getting to this, strange blue planet that was, the third from the sun, and found this, strange humanoid creature here that we rescued. Not certain why, he's still on the ship. If we've killed all of these flans, he can go back to talking to the people in the boxes that have very similar voices to our own, that seem to parrot or almost say the same thing at the same time that we were saying. That part was very, very, very disconcerting, and the sooner we can get out of here and put all of that weird behind us and deal with the problem with the sun, the better.
Well, I'll get out of your tentacles in just a moment, but I gotta say, Orlu, I'm kind of sad. I don't know when I'm going to see this wacky bunch again next, after whatever happens in the next couple of hours.
All right. Well, then, if you're going to leave, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
What's an omnivore's favorite food?
Boy, I don't know. Lay it on me.
A zucchini.
That's hilarious. You know what? In about an hour, you're going to feel a little bit refreshed, but you're going to feel just a teeny bit more refreshed than your companions. Speaking of when I might see any of this again next, to your question, if we ever do circle back around, we may find out what happened to the Bopi people. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to go with you, but my place is here, of course, while y'all do your thing. But if you wouldn't mind, could you drop me off at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It should just take you a second. If I'm going to go out, and if you guys fail and I'm going to go out, I want to go out having a good time. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing a concert in support of the Chili Pepper Hullabaloo tonight, and figured, why not? I could drop in on that.
That's up to her.
Circus?
Oh, I see no issue with dropping you off on our way there. Just survive.
I'll do my best. I mean, if you guys fail, who knows what'll happen. So anyways, you head off at, like I said, Urlash has just been sort of hovering in the sky above my house, and it only takes a second. As you're nearing downtown Cleveland, which isn't very far by car, and Urlash takes a mere moment, Bulgar, one of your crew, rushes up to you and alerts you, like, Arlash's capsaicin sensors are just going off the chart all of a sudden. And Arlash, you can feel like Arlash even kind of like warms up a bit, like internally, not dangerously so, but it's very warm as he's picking up intense capsaicin readings. And indeed, as you just, like I said, it's so quick to get there. You see, I don't know if you know what the Rock Hall looks like, but it's big on the waterfront. Looks like from the sky, it actually, if you're looking down, it looks like a turntable with the arm coming out into like a circular record. But anyways, there's a huge crowd gathered there, and all kind of vendors and things, and a stage where you see some roadies doing a sound check. But behind all like the fanfare and stuff off to the side, there's several huge like trucks, like to haul stuff, with like the big flatbed, but like it looks like a dumpster in the back, just filled with cayenne peppers. And you see that there's like a lot of the vendors and exhibitionists, have like spicy, offerings and things, all sorts of stuff.
Believe we should pick some of these up to help counter the flan.
I was just thinking the same thing. What if we hurled a truck of those into it?
Well, hey, y'all do whatever you want to do. I got you here. I'm gonna bail on you. And Doug/Karen Vol winks and exits Arlash.
So are the
quickly disappearing into the crowd below.
Are the humans down below at all reacting to a giant flying mantis?
No, they seem so focused on just the goings on. Nobody's really looking up. It's pretty. It's sunset-ish time, so it's like you're sort of like just hovering above the, out of sight. Most buildings and stuff.
So how do we get all those peppers up here if we're gonna do it en masse into said flan?
I believe my understanding is most of the people on this plane are not entirely at home to the presence of arthropods. So I'm gonna go scare somebody out of their truck of chili peppers.
Okay.
And then the rest is up to you guys.
All right. How does what's the plan?
So you know how sometimes like a spider will just descend like right in front of your face on a thread, but most of the time it's about the size of a like small coin. I'm gonna do that, but I'm like 7 feet tall.
Sure. Are you juicing it up with anything, or just doing that?
So do we think that
you're in no rush, by the way?
Do we think that we could secure this if we could get it on top of Erlash?
Oh yeah, he's big enough to be able to haul that. He's got a cargo.
Cargo
organ. What's that?
All we'd have to do is just basically get it in there.
Get it, or get them in there, or whatever you want to do. I just put that there's a truck's full of cayenne peppers.
Well, and you know what? I'm gonna do this the easy way. So
sure.
Does Erlash have a cargo door?
He has like a membrane that opens into like a special organ sac that you guys use as a cargo.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Erlash, you fly down. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna pick up the truck and dump it into you. That work?
You're gonna pick up the truck?
Yes.
Well, Earth's gravity is much less than your watery world, so you're feeling.
I've been doing some training.
Yeah. And Circus is going to scare people away, so there's nobody.
Yeah, I'm just going to work up a good drool.
Okay. Uliron and Dr. Christopher doing anything and contributing anyway?
No, I want to see Urlu pick up a truck.
Okay. You can stand in the cargo organ, supervise if you like. You can see it from there.
I'll try to drive the truck once it's like vacated.
So you're going to get in the truck?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have Circus make a roll to start out and see, because I imagine you're descending first to sort of distract people and give Urlu an opening.
13.
Yeah, you're successful as you're descending down. There's people just sort of like, these are workers like hauling stuff and whatnot. But there's like a loud amp check that sort of like draws everybody's attention to. And, you go sort of like corner the person who's, in charge of the truck that Urlu has targeted. And like, dies down. He turns around and just face to face with you and just straight up faints. Falls to the pavement. And it's sort of like, there's little temporary pavilions set up, and it's like out of the way.
If there's anybody else in the area that like sees this and is looking, I'd say no one will believe you before I start climbing back up the thread.
Yeah, there absolutely is like somebody just like whistling coming around the corner, and that all transpires. And then you just go back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just like blinks for a second and just goes to check on the person that fell. Now, Urlu, so you have an unattended truck here.
Okay, so
you hit the pavement with Dr. Christopher nearby.
So you briefly gain unbelievable strength to perform one. You can do things that were previously impossible, like single-handedly lifting a giant boulder, running through a brick wall, or knocking a giant to the ground. You can you can now do things that were beyond your reach, but not things that are absurd. You can't move a mountain or lasso the moon. The guide will decide
That's
what.
not absurd.
So
Moving a mountain's absurd. Lassoing the moon in this game, I don't know. That seems totally plausible.
so if you feel that falls into an unbelievable strength to perform one task.
Oh yeah,
all right.
yeah. It's just like a big. I mean, if you could lift a boulder with one arm, yeah, you could definitely hoist a truck in this campaign.
Stone's heavy.
And Dr. Christopher, you're getting in before he does this.
I was just-
hoist.
I was just gonna drive it to where he was, so he had less far to move it. So
Oh.
like he just had to like get it where we need it to be. Like I'm just getting it to Urulu, basically.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all I wanted to do.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, you just you disengage the brake or do whatever to help him. But yeah, actually, and too, as you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna, I don't even know how he's gonna do this. Okay, like you're fiddling with these controls that you really don't even understand, but before you know it, you just like you're in the air.
Oh, this is not what I expected you were going to do at all. But okay.
Said I was going to pick up the truck and dump it into Erlash. I mean, I
And
don't think there's any room for interpretation there.
and Ular, yeah, you do however you feel about it. See Ular just sort of like what do you do? Like go under it? I mean, it's not
go under and just do the
just
whole kind of lift
yeah.
up and dump it in through the membrane hole and
Sure. Yeah, Orlash sort of like hovers down closer, and a few people sort of like, but again, he's sort of out of sight, but it's just like so unbelievable that people, generally just disregard it for some reason. But yeah, you're able to just cleanly slide it into that hole that is full of cayenne peppers. And Arlash actually contacts you, Sir Cass, and it's like, this is really hot. I hope they're not going to plan on keeping him in here too long.
No, we're going to unload them nearly immediately.
They weren't kidding with calling this a hullabaloo. These are not your common cayenne peppers, ma'am.
No, that they are not.
And with that, I mean, you have a basically truckload of super spicy cayenne peppers. What would you like to do?
I'm going to start quick spinning a bunch of slingshots for the crew to use, and then the cayenne peppers will be ammunition.
Awesome.
well, why don't we just kind of open up the membrane and fly over top of the thing and let it all just fall in it all at once?
I had considered that, but I thought that the slingshots looked cooler, but we can do that. That makes more sense logistically.
I mean, we can
There's a lot of peppers. I mean, you could do both.
divide and conquer, but I mean,
Who knows what'll happen before you even get there?
I think en masse would definitely be more of a pack for your punch, or however it's called. Because I mean, eating one spicy pepper kind of it's like, okay, that's hot, but you eat a whole bunch all at once, it's like, holy shit.
We need a Gatling gun to shoot them out of.
Here's a thought. What if we take the vehicles back to the people that need to use them, thus making there more room and less weight, and we can have more peppers on here?
Well, I dumped the truck in and put the truck back down.
You did? Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay.
All right. So then I guess when he gets done, I'll drive it back to wherever they were. So that way we get an assembly line going on.
So you have a cargo hold full of hot peppers.
Do we need more, or is one truck good, Sirkas?
Just to be clear, the Sun Eater is larger than the sun.
And the Sun Eater
It
is
eats it.
you
It's
got
moisty.
former familiar.
Yeah, moisty.
So I think we should get as many peppers as possible then.
I think that sounds like a plan.
All
Just when Arlosh says enough, then that's enough.
Sure.
Hey, Doc,
And
Yes.
do you have any way to enhance the peppers? I don't know, make them grow, multiply them, make them stronger, or maybe use surcasts. I mean, I know you cast illusions that affect people's senses. Can you like heighten someone's sense of smell or taste?
There
I
is
mean,
absolutely no reason why I should not be able to do that. We'll see if that works on Moisty.
because I'm looking at Moisty and I'm looking at the amount of chili peppers we got, and you know, comparatively speaking, I think like one chili pepper, me eating that is not even close to it eating all of these.
How bad of a chili peppers are they? I mean, take a whiff. Are they?
This is the Chili Institute's annual chili pepper hullabaloo, where the hottest chilies in the world are celebrated.
Yeah, isn't there a scale? What do they rank on
Scoville.
the scale?
Yes.
Scoville goes up to millions.
Oh yeah.
And if we're going to
Now-
go for like really hot chilies, then we are looking for the ghost pepper.
Now this is just taking liberties, though. Their cayenne are not the hottest peppers, but these particular cayenne are incredibly hot.
They're a special breed of cayenne.
They're-
Ghost
you-
cayenne.
I got off on a whole like Creole tangent in my mind, and that's a primary ingredient of jambalaya, and I just fizzled out on.
Well, also,
We're
most
working
people
that in
aren't
by
going to
stuff.
be able to just straight up eat ghost peppers. If you have a festival, you're going to want something that most people will find palatable.
Yeah.
I don't eat spicy things. I know this because I went to an international food market once and thought this was interesting.
Robin coming in with the random trivia about food. Hey.
Nice.
This is the right show for it.
As you are deliberating in the low atmosphere, you do pick up the unusual music that begins to play down below. It's pretty funky. I don't know if you're into that, but there's a lot of it's heavy bass.
Some under the bridge.
Oh.
Yeah, starting off some fan favorites.
I have to say, these people are pretty weird. They like they all look kind of generally the same. I mean, like if you look at
And then the chili peppers come out on the stage completely naked, covered in silver paint, and wearing socks on their schlongs.
and they still look more normal than
And a lot of you.
You know what? I like them.
Nerlag likes them as well. Few of the crew, Millet is jamming to them.
I legitimately do not know anyone in real life that does not like the red hot chili peppers.
well, that means you know good people. So I think we best proceed with haste. I mean, we'll be fine, but I don't think these people are going to be too happy if their son goes away.
Right.
And this
I
is
don't know.
probably not going to stop here anyway. So eventually it might get to one we really care about.
Well, I mean, we did get to meet that weird person that was talking to the people in boxes.
That's true.
That's true.
And well, we met, the person who gave us these sodas too.
Mm-hmm.
So and obviously, if Sirkas chose them for a reason, then Sirkas, do you remember this Robin person? Do you like this Robin person?
Well, she is me, and well, they are me in a different reality. As much as I hate to admit being that horrendous looking horror show of a thing.
So I don't really understand realities and what have you. So like, if we fail and that thing eats their son, do you go away?
I believe so.
Then we absolutely have to succeed at all costs.
Definitely. Erlon, speaking of what you were discussing, I can enhance the sensations of others. So
Ooh.
in theory, I could enhance Moisty's ability to taste spice.
Oh, what if we used your power to enhance the senses? And can you focus it through the big red stick that seems to have something to do with heat and fire? To then like intensify the peppers.
I don't know. Guide, can I do such a thing?
Of course.
Okay, I would like to try to do that then whenever the time is appropriate.
So are you guys presumably moving it towards Moisty?
Yes.
Yes. All due haste.
Is anyone able to do calculations as far as how much time we have, but before we get there, before he gets there, all that nonsense?
Not long. Your intersphere travel is much quicker than like the long parts of travel are times in like the Phlogiston and stuff. But in the sphere, it's very fast. But you don't feel like it, it's not. You could stand on deck, but you're going
like, are we
incredibly quickly.
going to get there first? Are we going to get there in the nick of time? Is there time to plan? Like, I don't know how much.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like just slowly approaching the sun. It's not even touching it yet. It was just like from where you were, it was just, moving into that position. It's not like engulfing it yet. But on your way, actually, Arlash actually stops short because a large, long, like galley type ship just like comes out of, into nearby speed when it, like sort of like when ships meet each other's air bubbles, they sort of like slow down for safety's sake. It's magic. And on the stern of it, actually, you see a figure holding a saber pointed at your ship. It is your former commander that you deserted at the Gala Ularn, and next to her is like a bead, it's like got an eye patch on now, and it's just sort of like much more scarred up face. You see Roger, and she pointing the saber, and is just like, "Cease! Stop where you go! Stop where you're going, scofflaws! We finally caught up with you." Roger's like, "Yeah, that's him. He's the one that stuffed me on your ship." And
Oh no.
Oh no, poor Robert.
Roger.
Oh, Roger.
Even
We
worse.
clearly care about your well-being.
A lot. So much so we didn't bother remembering your name.
He's like, you in particular have been accused of desertion, and the lot of you have been harboring a culinary criminal and have several unpaid spelljamming tickets.
Well,
And there's like several, now you see like several other ships. There's just like, there's quite a few.
I see. I mean, you're not wrong.
Didn't we figure out that dessert's a good thing? Why are we back to this conversation?
It sounds to me as if somebody wants to be launched into a sun.
I don't know. It sounds like we got some allies to help us fight this this giant sun eater. I say we I say we cut and run towards the monster and see what they do.
Arlash actually like telepathically communicates with you, and he's like, I can outrun these guys, no problem.
I don't know, Sirkas. I don't want to put Arlash in danger.
Mr. Ularn, these guys will be eating my space dust.
Oh, I believe it. I know you're fast. You're fast. You're the fastest teen jammer I've ever been on.
Ah, shucks.
You're here.
And then I kind of look to Sirkas and raise an eyebrow. You guys got really important things to do. Commander. Oh, no.
Yes.
I'll go with you. But look, do you see that over there? And I point to Moisty.
Yes, the big gelatin sphere about to consume this sphere's primary star. Whatever.
Yes. So if me and my companions here, we're about to put a stop to that because Moisty isn't going to stop here.
She considers your words for a moment and is like, well, saving an entire crystal sphere from annihilation would certainly outweigh whatever charges this human is accused you of.
Oh,
what say you, Roger, Private Roger? He's like, I'm just a cook. You kidding me? You gonna let these guys go?
Wait, Roger's got rank now?
Hey, did we lose Circus?
We did.
Yes, we
Oh,
just lost to
Robin
Robin.
dropped. Hopefully they come back quickly.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I just noticed that. But what'd you say, Dave?
Yeah, so Roger, you've been promoted to private already?
It's like, yes, I made the most of my situation. Went from line cook to soldier. It's like the discipline is there.
So you technically, Commander, you technically didn't lose as a soldier.
Well, no. But GIF Empire invested a lot of money in you.
But I've been taking his place working as a line cook for Dr. Christopher here.
Really?
Makes the best ghost pastries anywhere.
Well, that sounds like almost like an even trade.
He's invested a lot of time and training in me.
Is that true, Doctor?
Oh, yes, you'll forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm clearly very ignorant of your laws. See, I heard deserting, and I thought that meant that I needed to train him to make desserts. So he's been learning all the desserts. I don't have any pink cupcakes on me at the moment. But you know what? I'm sure he could wow you and astound you with the desserts that he can make.
Well, I do have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Oh, we have a Robin back.
Oh, cool. Well, Circus, you didn't miss a whole lot. There was some banter.
Sorry about that. My laptop
That's okay.
decided to restart itself. Last I caught was Ularn saying something about something important.
So basically, Ularn said, look, I'll go with you, but we really need to stop this monster from eating the sun. Can we do that first? And about the captain said, well, that's actually really more important than anything this humans got to say. And then it kind of went back and forth as far as the person accusing Ularn got a promotion, and they're now a private. And supposedly Ularn has kind of been apprenticing to Dr. Christopher. So all really kind of lines up as, one, they've gained a soldier, we've gained a cook. Well, yeah, right?
Yep. It all came out in the wash.
So, I mean, it's all fun and games to kind of have these conversations, but monster approaching sun.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Commander, with so many platoons as well. So we've got hot peppers, but the thing I was thinking we could really use more of is gunpowder.
Well, we've got that in large supply, soldier. She's sort of like cats or a big blender.
If we all line up and do a bombing run over top of Moisty, dumping the peppers and gunpowder into Moisty, and then the doctor there and Circus are going to focus through their magics and power through the big red stick to intensify the peppers and gunpowder and also the Moisty's sense of taste. To bring them down from within. At least that's my plan. I don't know what anyone else is thinking. That's the best thing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You always did have a strategic mind for these things. It's good to see you flourishing.
Yeah, you'd be surprised of all the things you can mix gunpowder with.
One of the other gift soldiers is like, Commodore, I think we're going to need that gunpowder sooner rather than later. And you see that there's like thousands of moistlings have split off from the Sun Eater and are sort of like swarming around it to protect it. And sort of like coming towards you guys.
Do you have any undead food ready?
Not ready, but my new dessert chef definitely could get some ready, right? And I kind of like nudge Erlan a little bit to show what he's been learning. And then I sort of lean in to where he can hear me and be like, and to prove that we weren't lying.
What are you talking about? I wasn't lying with me. I made lots of food. I mean, it poisoned everyone that ate it, but I made it.
You made s'mores.
We did make s'mores. So actually, I think one of the Ghost Kitchen people made them for us. But I mean, we were there. That counts.
As you're sort of discussing that too, the GIF are sort of like taking what do you call it, like weapon stations and things like that, and firing cannons. And I rolled a triumph for their defense. So yeah, the first wave of moistlings is just like just turns into so much green slime in space around the armada.
Does Erlash have anything that's, I've asked this before and I apologize that
Nah, he doesn't have any weaponry.
He doesn't have weapons. Okay.
Still doesn't have
Commodore's
weapons.
like, she's like, well, maybe if we live through this, you could show me those pink cupcakes. But she's like, the Armada can give you cover. I zoned out when you were talking about whatever detailed cockamamie idea you had, but you always were excelled on your planning tests, Ularn. We can cover you if you want to make a run at that thing.
We will. Do you have some gunpowder we can use?
She's like, certainly, and she barks some commands and what sound do hippos make? Is it a bark? I don't know. We'll go with that. But barks some commands and several porter soldiers go and scurry and like quickly are like loading a few barrels onto your thing, and you just see like it's like a full on space battle going on right now as like other ships, Arlash and this flagship are sort of like in position, but all the other ones have started like moving around and defending, and there's just like moistlings exploding all over the place.
Uralu.
Yeah.
And Sirkas, here's a thought. What if Sirkas made a really big bag and we put all of the peppers into it, and then we had Uralu do that super strength thing that's really impressive. And I can enchant the peppers so that he's really, really sensitive to them. And then you can just huck the whole bag into Moisty.
Well, I figured we would just fly over top, and Ulash would open up the membrane, and all the peppers would fall out at once.
Oh, can he do that?
Sure. Nothing's really off the table at this point. I could totally picture that. Yeah. So you're just sort of making a mixture of peppers and gunpowder, and then you're just going to dump it all in a localized place while you enhance Moisty's taste sensation. Was that it?
Yeah. It's
Am I missing anything?
This is the
Any crucial parts of this plan?
This is the gun pepper maneuver.
Oh, nice. Gonna go down in history.
So, remind me, Mr. Guide, is it so that we pour our action points into the red stick to cause it to do more stuff, basically? And like however many action points you spend makes it better. Was that what I got from the gist of it? Okay.
It basically lets somebody use the fireball thing, but I let it so like everybody could just dump more points into it. Like normally there's a cap and it's just like for one person. This is the red stick we're talking about.
Okay, so this would be the most efficient thing to do. So I'm going to, because I'm pretty sure Uralu is the lowest on hit points and action points.
No, I'm fine. I mean,
we refreshed from this.
We refreshed. Apparently, visiting your guide, in real life is actually really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
I'm very magical, y'all.
Oh, I see.
Being around me is very soothing and comforting.
I believe it.
Okay, so we're actually restored. Never mind. I don't need to do a thing then.
And it's 20 minutes to 9, so
yeah, I used
spend them if you got them.
I used points to lift the truck.
Yeah.
I'll do so again, hopefully on something in the next 19 minutes.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you will do something heroic and spectacular. I think you're muted, Dave. We're missing Ularn Gold.
I'm going to go up to Sirkas and Christopher, looming over the top of both of them and putting a hand on each of their shoulders as I pour my action points into them and the red stick.
Ooh. So
Excellent.
how many do we get then? I don't understand.
I'll use them all. I don't care. Whatever you need. This is Moisty we're talking about. He's going to eat the freaking sun, and then he's going to eat other suns.
So yeah, the way I'm picturing is Arlash is skillfully maneuvers through all these moistlings and breaks out the cloud closer to Moisty. And there's no heat coming. It's like you're on the backside of them. There's just basically a giant ball of slime in space. And you can get as close to it as you want, and it's unprotected. So
is this cube-like, sphere-like?
Sphere-like. It's like a big slime ball.
Okay.
And it's got like like it's opening a maw on the front, and it's got like two little eye things. But yeah, it looks like basically like a spherical Jello mold.
Okay.
Can I use Magic Eye to get an idea of the weakest point of this conglomeration?
Yeah, sure. Actually, as you using that too, you see, it's just this big green sphere, of Jello, but piercing it with your magical senses, you see that inside that membrane is Jello, but there's all sorts of just debris floating around inside, bits of other worlds, and just all the things that it has consumed. Kind of looks like, do you ever see those old 70s ads for when gelatin was really kitschy, and it was the layer that, where you had peas and carrots and looked really nasty? Looks like that inside.
I like the idea that when Circus does
I'm sorry. So you find a point when there's no other, nothing floating near there. Sorry.
I'm gonna point that out, but I like the idea that when Circus casts that action, it creates 8 eyes just hovering around her head that are all glowing in purple.
Hell yeah!
So en route, since there is, as you said, time, could we concoct, shall we say, a plan?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You could, you can chat amongst yourselves.
Well, so. Again,
sounds like him trying to use one of his powers.
Yeah, that's a power. If you have time to prepare before a conflict, you can choose when it begins. You may ambush your enemies and take the first round. Before action begins, each party member must say what they will do during their first turn. The guide will then resolve each of these actions simultaneously.
Okay.
Basically, we would all get a chance to go before it.
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
All right. Points.
Yeah, I mean, Orlu's very quick thinking on his feet. So you're dumping the load on the weakest point and then red sticking it. Is that?
Red sticking it. I imagine that, I don't know whether common mortal weapons will have the ability to damage this thing given the size of it. But I would imagine that Ularn is going to shoot it. I really don't have anything that I can do from non-melee. But, hey.
I am just going to be sitting here and casting, and whenever somebody else acts, reaching out and showing them where the weak points are so that they can aim better.
Well, who wants to roll for the old red stick then? If I can find where the freaking...
think the wielder of the red stick.
Yeah, that's Circus.
It's gonna be yeah.
Okay, so we just refresh myself. You shape an orb of fire. You shape an orb of fire suspended in the air in front of you and send it streaking in a straight line towards the target, which is where the LZ, where your gun pepper maneuver is taking place. It explodes. And what did I say? For every 5 points, you could roll it again.
Okay, I'm gonna need to, but I rolled a natural 1 on my first attempt.
Oh no.
Okay, then the power of the red stick is such that it's overwhelming, even knowing what it does and everything, and it just discharges before you can even get a handle on it, and explodes in your face, hit you and everybody. All of you take 6 points of damage.
Oh, ouch.
Circus, I think you're supposed to shoot it, Moisty, not us.
And it's glowing and vibrating in your hands now.
like muttering, and then I put like 2 more hands on the stick to
Okay.
aim it better, and the
Sure.
next roll is an 11.
Yeah, it streaks down, and you're far enough away. It just sort of like is being a massive fireball, and you see like all the peppers and everything, just like a terrific explosion that would like as far away from you are, it looks like almost like a nuclear bomb going off on the circus. Just like, and there's like this huge red plume of smoke, and like even the vapors from orbit and that get through Arlash's air packet and just like sting your nostrils. But you see that there is indeed like just a huge like fissure blown into Moisty, and there's like bits of the stuff that it has consumed like starting to like, float out of it, that are sort of like popping out of the sides of the gelatin inside. But you can see that the hole is big enough for Arlash to actually get in if you want. I mean, it's a humongous hole that sort of like has permeated its membrane.
Circus, I think we have to dive into the weakened spot.
All right, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. And I'll like take a second to like rapid fire spin the umbrella looking thing that you use to jump out of a plane with so you don't fall too fast. Parachute.
So you're leaving, you're not riding Arlash in, just like going in individually.
Yeah, Arlash
have
can
to,
stay where he is. Like we can use because I don't want to risk him in this thing. We can just parachute in.
Like, I'll stay safe, Mom. Just let me know when you need me to pick you up.
You're gonna you're essentially Spider-Manning in.
Yeah. That's Spider Woman.
I will also make parachutes for everybody else that wants to do this.
Hey.
You guys spider web parachute from orbit of Moisty, and
I'll use my feather hook, which is basically like kind of like a grappling gun. So I kind of just like jump off, belly flop style of Urlash, and then pull it out and shoot it into the bottom of Urlash to lower myself down.
Sure. So yeah, it's actually like it takes a few minutes actually of just you're like I'll get excited and you're like yeah, and then there's kind of like a boring just like going down really slow.
The SpongeBob SquarePants. 5 minutes later.
Yeah, and, as you get really close, like it was sort of glossed over from his distance, but it's like it looks pretty gross. I mean, it's just like a split open chunks of gelatin, and like Dr. Christopher, especially like as you're getting closer, you would probably be like, oh god, like you're gonna land in it, and you guys funnel into this fissure, and as your feet touch it, just sort of like you keep going into it, and you end your space jump. Sort of just like floating in this gelatin-like stuff's comfortably cool inside. It's actually reminiscent of some of the deeper trenches of your homeworld, Oralu. It's just sort of like swimming in water, but it's like real thick and like you're kind of like pulling your way through it.
This is like Jello, you said?
Yeah, or a gelatin. Jello's a trademark thing, but
so like, heat would really
it's green gelatin.
Heat would really make mess this place up. He'll pull out Excalibur and kind of just turn it on and just push it into a wall while I'm walking.
Yeah, it's sort of like heats up and starts like further cooking it and like curdling it out of the way. So you can kind of make a pathway through it that's easier to navigate for sure.
Oh my god! I was just thinking Urlu is going to basically run out to the store and leave the oven on.
Let's see.
I have a question.
Sure.
Was I able to enchant the peppers with the modulate?
Yeah, to make him taste the sensation more.
Yeah, I want to make all of his physical sensations enhanced significantly.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, bad. So, yeah, doing that sort of like not only did you blow this hole in it, but it's sort of like has a lingering effect where it like Moisty like spasms every so often, and you feel it's almost like a pulse coming at you from like the center of this mass. Like
Any of
Like
you know if he's
it
got
was injured.
any of you know if he's got a brain? Can we get to like a major organ in here or something?
But wasn't he initially just like a little baby gelatinous cube?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's what Uralu says. Looking at your cops.
Oh,
To my understanding, yes.
And
Some sort of slime.
so I don't think they really have brains. They're just a mass of stuff. So
Like a larger version of a single cell organism.
Mm.
does have a nucleus.
It's got to have
Okay.
something in here.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like bits of other worlds floating around in half-consumed states.
Oh, well, we should definitely head to them to see,
If there's anything we can salvage.
Yeah.
Is he regenerating at all as we're going?
It's starting to just like, just the gravity and things that formed him into a sphere this size are starting to work, like seal back up, just being
Okay.
pushed and morphed back together.
I would like to do a thing then, if I'm allowed to.
Sure.
I would like to do an afflict.
Okay.
So I would like to afflict him with being blighted so he can't recover HP for a month.
Okay.
That's like being mega grounded.
Yes, but I also have to roll the die, and if I fail, it becomes contagious. And if it's a catastrophe, I'm also afflicted. So let's see what happens. Nerdarchy die, don't fail me.
That is definitely
Oh,
the kind
no.
of thing that you don't want to fire off until the very last session.
I got an 18, so I'm
Woo!
good. The
Good.
Nerdarchy die likes me tonight. That good metal Nerdarchy dice.
Although I feel like a 1 would have been really interesting, right? It's you inflicted and it's
Oh, yeah.
contagious.
Yeah,
Which means we would all die.
we would.
After doing that too, again, it's just sort of like that spasm happens more violently, and you sort of like almost like it's being carried through this gelatin. You hear like a voice that just says like, "Hey,
That
somebody
was
out
not
there."
what I expected.
It depends on who's asking, my dear.
It depends on who's out there. I didn't think Moisty let anything live in here.
We
Let
didn't give
is
him
a
a
bit of a
choice.
strong statement, yes.
Well, I mean, it just consumes organic matter and changes into flanergy. Sweet, sweet flanergy.
I don't think Moisty's ever come up against gun peppers before.
Oh, that's clever.
It's trademarked.
Always be branding.
And who, may I ask, are you?
I don't really know anymore. I used to be tethered to Moisty in another life.
Augustus, is that you?
That sounds familiar.
I'm going to go over to where this voice is coming from.
It is deep within Moisty, and navigating there will be a trial.
Okay.
So as you are sort of making your way there, basically there's just like floating things to dodge, like just, again, like just huge chunks of Earth, or other planets and things. There's not really any danger, but it's just hard to know which way is up. Like your orientation's all screwed up. It's basically just like an endless expanse of green gelatin, except for these other things. So what would you like to do as part of this trial to navigate to where you believe this voice is emanating from?
I'm going to use my psychic abilities to like ping off of where the mental signals are coming from.
Okay, yeah. So you sort of like get in tune with those pulses of radiating out, and we're able to follow them and lead your fellows. What are the rest of you doing as like sort of, near dangers? Maybe like debris comes, like it's about to like crush something you're moving between or something like that.
I would like to.
You got 4 minutes. Pull your points.
I want to modulate both Urulu and Erlon so that their senses are enhanced. so that they can perceive the dangers as they're coming more efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any near misses where that luckily Christopher did that to save his own bacon, perhaps?
I imagine that probably it's like as one of these like chunks of asteroid is like and like floating towards him, he's like, oh dear, and just like modulates Urulu, and he turns around and sees it and does his whole like whip around and smashes it out of the way.
All
and
right, cool.
Same thing, and then like another one, and Erlon, if y'all don't mind me saying for your characters, like grabs him and dodges like super nimbly because he's like a spy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he does like a duck and roll with you. Sure.
So I do exactly like you said. I grab you kind of to a duck and roll, and I like as I wrap my big meaty arm around you, the arm I wrap around you, I pull off a bracelet that I've been wearing, and I kind of like shake it out. And as I do it, like expands to the size of like a gift-sized hula hoop. And then I press it towards the meteorite that's coming towards us, and it literally just begins boring a hole against anything that it touches as I activate my shadow cutter.
Oh, cool.
And
so just like there's like a big round hole in it now.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. I like that.
And with that, I'll try and like anything that kind of like comes towards us, use that to kind of burrow through it.
Okay. How about earlier? You got anything fancy? Or you were leading with Excalibur.
I was leading
about as cool as you can get.
Leading with Excalibur, pretty awesome in and of itself. I'm kind of hoping that 9 o'clock rolls around soon, so not looking to spend any points.
Sure.
But I do have an ability that allows me to focus. So if I need to like close out the unneeded senses and hone in on what I have to do, I definitely have that capability.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually kind of refreshing, maybe, like it's like, again, it's kind of similar to your home world. So it's like you've been out of the water for a long time now. It's like, oh yeah, this is, you're literally in your element. And yeah, it's not long for, or it is relatively not long, but for you sort of like get to where all that debris field, like you kind of pop out into like an inner sphere, and there in the center of it is a tiefling that Circus you now recognize as your old companion Augustus, and he's sort of like tethered by these little strands to the like inside walls of this area, which you are just basically floating in. It's sort of like 0G in here. And he's just like kind of looks unconscious, like he's just sort of like hanging from these things with arms and legs. His tail also.
I don't suppose it would help to unhook you from all of this.
It's like I don't think I can be. It's like these hardened collagen proteins are impossible to break. I think it's only my connection with the goopy one that keeps Moisty tethered to the physical realm. He's like, he's sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Look, sort of like expectant, speaking to you. He's like, I mean, it was your half-baked plan to begin with. I assume you're here now. You know what you ought to do.
We're here to finish him.
Yeah. I think so. He just, he explains that, like I said a few episodes ago, like he kind of confirms it, like, he had gotten frightened of the goopy one, and like turning the universe into Flanergy isn't all that he thought it was cracked up to be, but the goopy one wouldn't let him go, so you two kind of came up with this half-baked plan that he would sort of sacrifice himself as Moisty's first, victim, and that way he would be like sort of, like I said, like tethered to the physical realm, because he was sort of like an extra-dimensional creature before, but now it's like actually a physical creature, and he just began consuming everything in his path. And it is 9 o'clock, so y'all can have 3 points back, except Orlu gets 4. for his puntastic ways.
Doubled how many points I had.
I will pull out a Spice Weasel and try and slash those cords.
No, we don't. Really
Yeah, you can make a roll. Actually, no, I'm gonna follow some advice from a good video that I just watched recently and say you do, and it is just impossible to.
Okay, so I cut through it. It's like just doesn't even cut.
No, it's like these are like hardened strands of like collagen proteins that are just like they just cannot be broken by normal means.
Those are what ties this creature here. If you were to sever those, then he would be free to go wherever he wanted.
I thought it means he wouldn't be here anymore.
No, he would be unable to be affected by anything in the physical world because he would be like a extra dimensional creature. It could just sort of come.
Oh, my bad. On the plus side, that also doesn't work.
Yeah,
Your friend Augustus is powerful.
Well, not really. I don't have any power. My only power is that I can't leave here.
Kind of stinks.
Yeah, it's not too cool.
Do you know if you're? I don't think friend really works anymore. Does he have any weaknesses?
Well, I mean, like all flan, it can curdle with intense fire. He's like, you got the red stick, didn't you?
Yeah. I got a bag of flour. Will that do anything?
Bag of flour?
Yeah.
I don't know. Truth be told, I was only on the crew because I like to eat stuff. I don't know anything about cooking science.
I like to eat stuff too.
Is flour combustible? He's like,
I believe
don't know. I think
is.
I mean, most things are combustible.
It's like, well, I mean, yeah, well, Sir Cass and I thought the red stick would do it, but if you want to zhuzh it up with something else, he's like, I think as long as this core gets destroyed, that's it for moisty.
Can you sense which way the core is?
You're in it.
Oh. Do we see anything that like? Oh no! Then like a look comes over my big gift mug, and as I look at the wall that Augustus is tethered to, it's like, oh. And then I look.
Yeah, he's sort of like suspended in the middle of the circular chamber.
Yeah. Then I look at Serikos. This was always part of your plan?
I don't remember making this part of the plan, but I wouldn't doubt it coming from myself.
He's like, yeah. He's like, we came up with it together. It's okay. He's like, it's my fault this happened.
I guess just pretend you guys got done doing it and let loose with the big stick. Like that's the way you're people, right?
He's like, I've been trapped here for several years now. I mean, who knows what comes next?
Hey, are you hungry?
No, these strands are keep me fed.
So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should move over there and make with the big stick magic. You want to like close your eyes or something, Augustus?
He hasn't opened his eyes, sort of like speaking telepathic.
Oh, that's good. This is
sort of in a
really
coma,
awkward.
basically.
Isn't Moisty's whole problem that he's just always hungry and that he's always eating all of it, right? Without any sort of conscience or sentience. So
he's a manifestation of the will of the goopy one.
What
he just
if
wants to turn the entire existence into flan, which I once did.
What if, I don't know, like, I don't know why this particular death would bother me so much because death usually doesn't bother me. But I mean, we have the Necronom Nom Nom with us.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a thing or two from it, and I have some powers that kind of do vaguely this. But what if we tried to more or less meld Augustus in with this being instead of just destroying him? And then maybe he could take the being somewhere in the distant galaxy, maybe in the weird where there isn't a lot of life, and could eat there. I mean, it's a long shot, but something about just killing him and letting it all curdle feels wrong.
Is that something you would want?
I mean, I'd prefer Moisty doesn't turn everything in existence into Flannergy.
Well, that part is non-negotiable, but I mean,
So
this kind of life, do you want that?
well, I mean, right now his plan is to just die. You know, putting that out there plainly.
Yes.
I kind of like the idea of what Dr. Christopher is saying. Right now, you are stuck inside of the monster. If we could kind of do a bit of role reversal and, you know, put him inside of you, I mean, according to the story, he's in charge.
So
Right.
I'd eat Moisty?
Yeah.
That would be sweet revenge, wouldn't it?
So
Take that, Goop Lord. Or the Goopy one.
I mean, is that in any way, shape, or form possible?
He's like, I don't know how long you've been with Circas, but he's like, we've done some pretty implausible things. Impossible? Maybe. But I like to think of it as implausible.
As most things often are. Impossible is an impossibility in and of itself. All right, let's try it then.
What do we got to do?
You tell me. You do have two very powerful culinary tomes.
Well, I think he'll need to be weaker. So the chili pepper plan and the fighting him will probably still have to happen.
Well, that
So
already
the
did.
best
Part
chance
of it already did.
Justice take over it. Oh, we already did that part. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's how we got
I got a
in.
little mixed up. So, okay. Guide. I have an ability. I have a
Okay.
couple of abilities. I have the bitter gift,
Mm-hmm.
which instills a creature with sentience and self-awareness, turning it into a person like me
Yep.
from the Necronom Nom Nom.
There's three
I
bugs living on your
also-
ship right now, like that have been given the bitter gift.
Mm-hmm. I also have reinstate dead, which is I touch a living creature and make it the host for a nearby spirit creature. Is there a way for me to sort of make it so that Augustus, his spirit, is now the one in control of the giant Flannergy, so he can move it where he wants and whatnot? And basically I'll just dump all of my action points into doing this thing. So I will be spent and also at 4 hit points.
Oh no.
Try to do this.
If this works, you may make the greatest SpellJammer ever.
I would, that sounds plausible under those circumstances. You're basically doing like a Freaky Friday with them.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Are you just doing that?
Yes, I will do that. I'm gonna dump all my points into this action. We're gonna see what happens.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else can contribute in any way.
Yeah, go ahead, man. You can.
Oh,
So here,
somehow.
I'll spice things up for you. So as you sort of decide to do this, Moisty actually is now like beginning to like actually open its maw to, chomp down on Earth's yellow sun. And you see that like all of the, not in this little bubble you're kind of safe. It's sort of like a pocket of air and but like around you see like all the gelatin that is outside just begins to like just really quiver and get excitable as it's sort of reacting to it, and Augustus, he's just like, I don't know, it sounds pretty crazy to me, but he's like, whatever you're gonna do, I'd suggest you do it right now, or Moisty's gonna get pretty strong.
You got this, Dr. Christopher. I believe in you.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, describe what that's like. Like, what do you imagine? Like your friends see as you're sort of Freaky Fridaying it. You're just sort of swapping like their minds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Christopher. So Christopher he's already really misty, kind of like how I'm trying really hard not to be misty because of Augustus in the position that he's in, and he
that would be my bullet point. The
feels. Yes, and so he pulls up the Necro Nom Nom Nom, and he starts flipping through the recipe for the bitter gift. And as he's holding out his hand and starts reading it, and the light in the area, including from the sun, just sort of darkens.
Ooh.
So it's almost like an eclipse effect.
Okay.
And the flan is darkening all around, and the shadows are reversing to light and weird things like that. And you hear this like faint dissonant whisper going on, and just in the back of everybody's minds as this weird psychic stuff is going on. I'm sure Sir Koss probably does stuff like this, or otherwise could contribute in this magic.
Yes.
I don't know if she does anything to do that.
I was waiting to be prompted. Yeah, she will absolutely step in and like contribute and help funnel the flow of what's going on. Like basically cleaning up the edges, not letting anything be lost to entropy.
Okay.
For everybody who's watching, the Necro Nom 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 is a necrotic spell book with culinary necrotic spells. So, because people in chat were asking.
Yes. Not to be confused with the Gastronomicon, which is Sir Koss's.
Yes. So Sir Koss and Christopher are doing their magic bits. And I would like to see if Sir Koss is willing to maybe link our minds to help this work a little better. Yep. And maybe we can like draw on like Uralu's knowledge of Augustus or things like that. And like Erlon has demonstrated that he just is very loyal to the point of like, just having this understanding of oneness with groups that the rest of us just don't get, so that we can funnel these things into the power to try to make it more effective and maybe get it so that these things that were once very separate things that have kind of been forced together are melded instead.
Yeah, I would actually imagine Uralu might be quite helpful there because he's such like a fanboy that like as you're sort of like experiencing these, transferring of minds like visually in your minds, be like, oh no, that's he wouldn't do that, or you could sort of like help him differentiate like the parts of Augustus' personality.
Sure, that'd be fantastic.
And as this process completes too, like Augustus or the restrained form in the thing just begins like thrashing about, and it actually sort of like it opens its eyes, and like the sort of sonorous voice is just like, what is this? I'm trapped in this body of flesh and physical form, and it's like sort of struggling against these bonds. And Augustus is sort of like, you sort of just like feel his voice all around you, and he's like, okay, first off, my mouth is on fire. I'm going to back up. This is extremely painful. And, you can sort of like feel that sort of agitation in the gelatin form begin to lessen. And there's sort of like a bit of staticky telepathy that you hear, Sir Koss, of like Arlash is like, like it was trying to come in. It's just like, Mom, it's like,
yes,
is everything okay in there? He's like, everything sort of stopped out here for a moment. Those moistlings, looks like the gift took care of most of them, but the rest of them just sort of stopped.
I will send him the basically the sentiment of what's going on. Like instead
Okay.
of giving it in words, I just pretty much give him
Sure.
like the brief memory
Yeah.
so that he
He's like-
knows.
He mentally says, "Whoa!" It's like, so
Indeed.
your old friend was inside there,
Yeah, that
But
seems
now
to be
he-
the case.
but now he is this thing. Interesting. Yeah, new guest. This is sort of like, I feel just really full. Oof. Like, just full to bursting. And it's sort of like, you hear like regurgitative sounds, like sort of emanating from within this, like burps and sort of, that's sound of like a gas, basically burping sort of sound from deep within. And like, I don't know. Is there anything? I mean, I can keep narrating if there's anything you wanted to do.
I would say
Uh,
if you got to let it go, let it go. I mean, anything to kind of diminish this thing's size would be beneficial, in my opinion.
It's like,
I don't know if I like where this is going.
I think you're right. And just sort of like, you just immediately feel like a pulling sensation as like everything begins moving towards one direction. And the Moisty basically now is like still just sort of like restrained. Things sort of like that chamber collapses as things are moving out, and he just sort of gets swept away in debris, unless there's any, I'm just like, if you want to jump in at any point and change.
Oh
things.
yeah. I'm just going to mention we might want to relocate somewhere else before we end up spewing parts of digested galaxy into this solar system. I don't feel like that would be very healthy.
I also picture Christopher as probably unconscious at this point because I just pumped everything into that. And I'm like,
Sure.
done. I'm
Just
wiped.
being
I'll
whisked away.
pick up Dr. Christopher and begin kind of walking out towards our exit was. If we have to go for a ride, I'll go for a ride.
Oh yeah, you are going for a ride. I imagine you're able to grab him, and like I said, like the Moisty's body just goes away, but you guys are able to stay together most. And like all the physical sliminess of Moisty or of Augustus now is just sort of like expelled into space violently. Actually, back at the RHCP concert, and much of Earth just gets like like slimed with just inert green slime, basically. Like you can't see that on television style, just like like against whatever half was facing the sun. Well, I guess it would be like California, from Pacific time to what, Japan?
Oh,
or
good.
whatever.
Maybe it'll put out some of the fires.
Yeah. Sure, that's a good thing. But as you're getting expelled like this, the physical stuff is spewing out, but there is sort of like this emerald energy that you see just sort of like disperses out all around into space and just sort of like begins to, trail away into little wisps. But Karlosh is able to swoop in as you guys are sort of like getting vomited out and rescue you. But yeah, as all this sort of like, dies down, this all happens quite quickly. There is just like a little ball of maybe basketball size slime sphere that's just sort of like was at the center where you guys just were.
Is that Augustus now?
Yeah, actually, like a little mouth opens out and just like spits out the like last little bits of slime. And it's just like, well, I guess I'm a slime now. Is that what happens? He's like, I did want to turn everything into flan, and I guess my entire my entirety of me is flan now. Well, so that's something. And he's like, I don't really feel the presence of the goopy one. Whatever you did seems to have broken that connection. He's like, I think my body's still out there somewhere, though. My old body, is this right? I mean, just sort of like it contracts like a worm to like move closer to the ship.
Can we
Like, permission to come aboard, I guess.
try to find the body that is Moisty?
Yeah, you could. Anything particular anybody's doing to do that? I mean, it was just sort of like expelled with, there's like all kind of debris floating around now.
So
A lot of it getting incinerated by the actual sun.
I guess Erlon will like activate his spy glasses, trying his spy monocle to see if he sees anything out there. But Dave is kind of hoping we don't find it.
Make a roll. We'll let the dice decide.
I'll use the sensors if I can look.
That's a failure. I rolled a 2.
Yeah, I mean, you do look all around and you do not detect
Urulu, I think the violence of the expulsion just shot him too far away too fast. He probably destroyed him. I mean, really, like that was pretty violent.
I got a 9. That's a tough choice.
And what were you trying to do? Look,
I was going to use sensors to try and locate any living forms or whatnot in the area.
All right, tough choice, huh? I don't like those. Come on. You do actually, like, just on the bare edge of your periphery, you think maybe that you see what might be Moisty, and you guess this is a little body. But at that same time, one of the gift ships, is like that was damaged in the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like only you have time to warn them that, like, you see like a small fire by a gunpowder keg, and it's like you could try to focus and keep your eye on that thing, or look away and tell them.
I will warn the gift ship.
If that was Ular, he would have been like, fuck those guys. Yeah, you do. You're just sort of like, I think but you tell them, and they're like, they scramble to put out this fire.
I look back to the sensors, and alas, the blip.
Yeah, it's just debris out there.
So, now what?
Season 3, Revenge of Moisty.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that to be too deflating, but just for behind the scenes, so that's pretty much all I had. I didn't think it would go that quick, so we could, do play some more, or do anything you want, or just, I think do a campaign wrap up or whatever.
I think this is a good spot to stop. We could very well, stay on for the next, little bit and answer.
Yeah, I could totally improv. So just
answer any questions about characters and whatnot from the viewers. I'd be totally down for that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. I have a question real quick.
Sure.
Do we know if the Bopi people are cool or okay, or what happened with them?
I don't think
So
we
I
do
didn't
now.
realize my mic was muted.
I did have some denouement bullet points that that's why I was like, if we improv, I could probably work this in. But honestly, it's also like 90 degrees in this room, and I'm like, I can't even concentrate.
I just wanted on the record that anybody that tries to take Ularn is getting eaten.
Okay. They did. No, you did. You settled up with the gift.
Okay.
Doug did say that we would have to find out in season 3 what happened with the Bopi people.
Okay. So this is the next time. Oh no!
Although I will say, I'll give you a little hint for if there is a season 3, that everything that was consumed by Moisty became infused with Flanergy. I'll say that. Hold on, sorry.
Well, I mean,
and if you're a big nerd, it's because it'll probably be a long time. It's related to the ending of Mass Effect, of what happened to the Bopi people.
Oh.
I will say in
that means absolutely nothing to me.
I know. That's a vague hint.
In the Quest RPG, every character kind of has what their dream is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, did you guys achieve your dreams?
I did not.
You didn't?
I did not. So Uralu's dream is to taste something that is just too delicious.
You don't think anything you tried on your quest?
Nothing came across that felt like that would be there. So
well, one possible thing I had for you guys to do was okay. Well, let's see. As Uralu, we'll just weave back into a little bit of role play. Is pondering that aboard Arlash, you're the first to notice, and then everybody sort of does at the same time, is just sort of like, in the mess or whatever, that everyone can only taste sweet things. And in fact, everything you taste only tastes sweet.
Oh, no.
So
yeah, Doctor.
The only reason I brought that up, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sure.
It's like that's a very easy tie-in of like, well, we still have things to do. So very, very obvious thing for season 3. Not trying to lay of like, oh my god, I didn't, accomplish something.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden we realized that we only can taste sweet things at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Man, that's weird.
So Orlan did achieve his dream.
Which was
his dream was to find a corner of the world to make his own.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like until they kick him off of Surlash, he's done it. Or Orlash.
I don't think you're getting kicked off.
I loved the diplomacy between with the Commodore there, and just like trading it up basically, and there's some clever ideas. So that was cool.
You got a guy, we got a guy. It's okay.
Yeah. He was a cook. Now he's a soldier. Yeah.
So
yeah, the GIF are very practical like that.
Mm-hmm.
I halfway achieved my dream. Christopher's dream was to obtain the Necronom Nom Nom and unlock its many secrets. He's only unlocked one legendary secret ability, whatever, so far. So he still has a long way to go before he's mastered this new.
Put it to pretty cool use, though.
Yeah, that was sweet and intense and all the things.
Again, so this will probably be a while. I was gonna say in our next outing with these folks, Arlash would grow up into be a true Spelljammer, or some maybe like I was thinking a Spelljammer, like a young adult Spelljammer.
I dig it.
Or a jammer. Or we'll see. Who knows? Like I said, it could be a long time. Oh yeah, we're gonna do our Halloween episode. I'm excited about that, which sort of touches on the same characters.
I kind of forgot we even discussed that, and then I saw the chatter in Discord.
Yeah, I think it just came up at the moment. We were like, hey, we should do Halloween. We're like, hell yeah, let's do it. So that's how I kind of shoehorned in that extra mansion resident last week.
Are we going to use Quest or a different system?
I don't know. I like the system, and it kind of fits with the zaniness. Let's see, a mythological kraken, a invisible werewolf, a swamp creature, and a patchwork person can get into.
Robin, did Sirkos meet her dream?
I believe she still wants to have a conversation with the star, although she has been informed that has happened. She doesn't actually remember it, so it's still on the to-do list.
To have a conversation with a star?
Yes.
And
like a literal star.
Well,
like the kind that are in the sky.
Oh, not like having a conversation with Robin, because you're a star, right?
I was thinking,
contrary to my deepest desire, I am not actually made of plasma.
So, as a guide, one interesting thing was, like in the first session, Robin, like somebody asked you what you'd been up to, and like you pretty much had just, your free reign to be like, oh, you just make up stuff. But you had said like, oh, I don't remember. So that was kind of informed that whole plot thread of, just because you said that, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was really good. I love stuff like that.
So we've hinted at the Halloween episode. Do you think we should tell people what that is?
Oh yeah, we were talking about it live in the episode, but sure, yeah, it was the residents of Dr. Christopher's mansion. Spooky
Did we
mansion.
talk about it during the game?
Yeah, it was, when we were coming up with like William or whoever, somebody's like, "Oh, you should do a Halloween episode playing these characters," and we were like, "Okay." So
yeah, so it's going to be a
right
thing. One of you fine folk willed that into existence.
Yes, probably somebody that's here right now. A lot of these people have been hanging out with us the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that we have the people like that have just been through it with us the whole time. Like, that's great. That just drives me on. Like, I love that.
So, what are we looking at the 26th, the last Tuesday in October?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was thinking. But yeah, it's like 10 weeks away.
So that'll be like most of the way through our other campaign.
Yeah, so what happens now? I'm not even sure, and maybe the people watching it too. So we take 2 weeks off?
Yeah, so we'll be 2 weeks off. We're going to take 2 weeks off from streaming, and then one of those weeks we'll be getting together for session 0. We're going to be coming back, and we're going to be playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, run by Steven. Will be our dungeon master in Steven's own world, which also I believe, don't you run on Quill and Pen as well?
Quill and Sword.
Yeah.
Quill and Sword.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, it's all right. Yeah, we run this campaign setting on Quill and Sword. However, you guys are going to be in a totally different part of the world, so it's just going to be able to help build that aspect. And I'm really, really excited because y'all have some great characters. Like, I think everybody pretty much is playing a Nerdarchy original subclass, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
I know
I haven't actually picked a subclass yet, but I can very easily do that. What rogues do we have?
Well, we won't force you to, although you did make many of them.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna be interested in picking one of those up and actually trying it at table for myself instead of like.
I actually made my character today. I was very, very excited to actually get in there and start getting him prepped and made and.
Yeah, so I'm playing a Spell Eater Barbarian, which is a subclass for Barbarian that Doug actually created on the website, which I believe is based off of the Spell Eater Minotaur monster that we had made and put in, into some of our products.
I don't know. I think Steven wrote that actually.
Oh,
yeah, I think I wrote it for one of those products to feature.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to steal your thunder.
Cool.
You're good. You're good. I mean,
damn you, Doug, and your stolen valor. That I stole and gave to you.
Oh, I'm going to be playing a Druid Circle of the Stone Gaze.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to get into that one.
Yeah,
so. And I'm going to get to play with Beardomancy as a Leonin Shaggy Soul sorcerer.
Oh yes,
yeah, that's going to be good. I'm excited to play a Spell Eater Barbarian as a Minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
Thus
yeah, that's
being
pretty
a
cool.
Spell Eater Minotaur.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Man, this group's just so much fun. It's great rotating out and what all groups would do. This is a good example for any group. Like, just switch off. You DM in. Yeah. It's the best of both worlds because you're used to playing with the people, but then you get a break and everybody gets to do everything.
Everybody takes a turn at the GM
and play different characters. I mean, even having it's not like it's just you're either playing the same character or DMing. It's like,
so Robin, there's definitely a Thought Stealer rogue.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was on my short list. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play it like Kreskin."
That actually works really well with the character concept that I have in mind. So
yeah, I like the Thought Thief. What's that guy's name? That NPC?
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, that NPC is a little slippery shit that's in those adventures. I forget his name. Caro something. Yeah, Caro Davenfield. I think he's the best NPC in any of our products for sure. And there's a lot of good ones. Well, we have a lot of things with Caro in them, so I really dwelt with him for several months in those Shimmer stuff. So he's probably more developed than other NPCs, I think.
Ted's
But
Ted
I
is
really
not
like
going to
it
be
month
good at
after month. I'm
stone
like, man, this
jokes.
guy's a jerk.
What was that?
I said Ted's not going to be good at stone jokes or stoner jokes, I should say.
Are you kidding me? I started the research on that for like months ago.
It was when he did acid a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
As opposed to like just straight out doing a joke. I'm gonna have.
You're just going to get high before every session?
No,
Yeah, it's my jam.
Well, let's swap out Ted's gummy bears with edibles.
Now he'll have things that use the word like stone or rock or hard in like phrases.
Yeah. Hey, with this game, did you guys like Quest overall? I know it's fairly simple and you did stuff like that, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed this a lot. Unfortunately, like I didn't realize that there was more to the game than the stuff that I was looking at already.
all right.
So now I'm gonna have
There's
like a
not
whole
much
bunch more to read.
it's not a whole
I
lot more.
enjoyed what I played of it.
Yeah, it was. I really like how because at first I was a little bit skeptical of like you get a new feature every time you finish a session, but there's a ton of features for every class, and it feels really rewarding because you have something to look forward to and you know what rate you're going to build things at, so it's not quite so ambiguous about like when you level up and stuff.
Yeah.
And with the consistency of HP and like you always have the same move points and stuff, it doesn't feel like nearly as much to keep track of because you can get used to it. So it's more just like acclimating to the new thing that you picked. And I just really like that aspect and like being able to use it in new and interesting ways because they're vague.
Yeah.
This feels very conducive to like a Justice League-y sort of thing because you're already so powerful. Like it's not at all like D&D where you're trying to get more powerful. It's more like you're trying to develop and round out.
Yeah. It feels really good for these kind of games that we play streaming too, because it's like, we get a power every session and they're like 2 hours. So it's like the same amount of time that you play every time. And playing a limited campaign, like if you play it indefinitely, it's like you'd have all the powers.
Yeah, you would run out eventually. Like I was actually getting close to the point where I didn't really want any more powers.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they just thematically weren't fitting my character.
There's a whole tree that I didn't touch. It's like, so if we played, or if or when we play these in another session, another season, I'm like, all right, well, I'm absolutely going to go down this whole path and
maybe we can explore multi-classing at that point.
Sure, yeah, I'm totally. I mean, we don't, it's the first time I was like, oh, let's just play like it says in the book. But yeah, I would totally be down for that. Or even like reworking what you already have. I mean, you're just playing for fun and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I like this game. It feels good for streaming. Just now I had to keep track of.
As far as I'm concerned, like we could play with these characters as is without needing to gain any new ability.
Yeah. Right.
And I think all of us would be okay with that. So
I guess it's several Magic items too. And I don't think anybody ever used any of them except Tad. You did it a few times, but
I used the bouncer once. But like technically, I've got that ability like built into my.
Oh, really?
So it doesn't really matter much there. I used Excalibur at the end, but I mean that was something like I had designed idea-wise as kind of like a throwaway, not actually. Number one, thinking you were actually going to put it in the game, or two, it would actually have an item and have properties.
Well, it's when with the knights and all that, it felt appropriate.
Sure.
And I really like that Excalibur movie, so I was swiping like quotes from that left and right in regards to it. So that was fun. I was like, hey, I can rewatch it as research.
I'm working.
But yeah, you had that pot, you had that ring that you just basically stole off Gorgon Ramsay. That.
Again, that was one of those things where I'm like,
I'm not a very challenging GM when it comes to like testing the limits of characters.
There's a couple times you almost killed Ted. It's got to count for something.
That's a lot harder to do now.
Yeah. Well, we're all different kinds of GMs.
I literally have an ability called Defy Death.
Oh, really?
Even if you bring me to 0, I can keep fighting.
Kill Ted.
Yeah, it was funny. Like it was a couple some of those sessions when like in my notes, and I was like, yeah, there's some minions, and I would think of Orlu. I'm like, put like 12 of them. Like you'll probably kill half of them in one hit or something.
Well, I mean, I'm the fighter. I'm supposed to fight.
Well, that's kind of fun having these like simple games where it's not super like crunchy, where it's just like, yeah, you can kill 12 of these things, no problem.
Or we can have a session like tonight where I didn't roll a single die.
Yeah, you didn't really?
Nope.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, to me, I think that's a show of
you did the censor check. You totally lying, man.
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, good. Everybody rolled them.
I did. I rolled the censor check once.
Awesome.
And I rolled a 9.
Well, this was a very indulgent game for me. Just being.
I think we all had fun.
I loved it.
Crazy, yeah.
And I guess with that, we will be back in a couple 3 weeks. I guess it is from now, right? Because we won't be next week. It won't be the following week. But we'll be back with D&D, and Steven will be at the helm. We've got some fun characters to play with. We're going to use some of the Nerdarchy stuff that frankly we've all contributed to making over the years. So that'll be cool to see a whole party of Nerdarchy subclasses, which is definitely something we have not done before. We've seen the subclasses in play, just not a whole party of them. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I always thank you guys for playing with me, and everyone for joining and watching us and hanging out with us. So come back in 3 weeks for some more RPGs. We'll be playing some 5e D&D. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.